Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. Young Walt Disney, I'ma tell you truthfully. If you leave Mickey, you're gonna end up with a Goofy. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. I'm Guy Pigden.
And I'm Harley Neville. Was the implication that if you don't want to leave the good girl and end up with a Goofy?
Well, no, the idea is like this guy is a mogul, and if you leave him, you're going to end up with someone shit.
Right.
Goofy, apparently, obviously Goofy, you're a bit goofy,
the dog.
But Goofy the dog, but also apparently Goofy is Chicago slang for like a goofy dude.
Right.
That's Kanye West.
Is that one of the new guys? Is that one of the new rappers?
So anyway, welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. This is a filmmaking podcast. This is a podcast about our lives where we talk to you every week about something. And, you know, a lot of big things going on.
Yep.
The release of our film.
Yep.
Which we...
Not to harp on about it again.
But we have to speak about it a little bit. But, you know, also last week, you know, we did a bit of a drunk podcast. And
arguably it was the best one we've ever done.
We brought awareness to hairy buttitis.
Yep.
And many have come forward to thank us for that.
Yes.
So, you know, we here are like, you know, we're here to talk about, you know, the important things.
We've got a certain social responsibility.
Exactly.
Now, this is a very special episode of the podcast because we've got a live studio audience. We're being supervised by my girlfriend Angie to make sure that I no longer say anything rude or obnoxious.
Well, also, speaking of Angie,
the podcast is...
she gave us a little bit of feedback.
Yep.
She really enjoyed the last podcast.
Okay.
She's a huge fan.
That's good.
She made a point of coming into my room to congratulate me on the quality of the podcast.
Okay, so...
Right? So she's a big fan, so I wondered, and I'll ask you, but I mean, she's right here as well, is like, which do you think was her favourite part? Was it the hairy buttitis, or like, I mean, what was it that really was magic? Was it the sex spectrum?
Sex spectrum? That was a high point. Well, yeah, it's a good question. Say hello, Angie. Nice and loud.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
So yeah, I guess first thing, zombie film. We've had the premiere, we've had a lot of feedback and stuff, but I did want to talk about something that's kind of interesting, right? Now, you and I, we're self-promoters.
Yeah, are we what?
You know, but I also think that becomes more and more your job as you know, as we go into this new digital age. It's embracing the social media.
Yeah.
It's getting your stuff out there. It's talking, interacting with your fans because, you know, again, with this proliferation of piracy and stuff like that, the only thing that you can do is sort of find an audience and connect with them, and that hardcore audience will be the people that sustain you and keep you going. And so, you know, it's obviously very important to connect with the fans and talk to the fans.
I do actually have something to say about that. One is that if I'm proud of it, I will continue to toot it until I feel like
until you die.
Well, until I reach the blocking level on Facebook. You know, like just shy of Facebook block. You know, that's where I promote to.
A few degrees shy of Facebook block.
So you know, that might be a good 5 or more posts about it.
Yeah, that's where I go with my interaction with women. A few degrees before Facebook block.
Yeah,
that's where I leave it.
Yeah, a few degrees before almost considered a stalker.
That's where I sit.
And so, no, look, this is nothing new. This whole self-promotion thing. It seems like it's become a bit of a dirty word in the days of the internet. This whole he's a real self-promoter. But Eminem was handing out literal cassette tapes outside ICP concerts to get his name out there. He was printing, he was dubbing his shit onto cassette and then going down there and standing around outside the concert giving out his tape to people being like, hey, I'm a rapper from Detroit too, and now that's next level self-promotion and yet that was, not only was that what he did, but that was sort of what you did, like you got out and you gave out your mixtape and you did all that stuff. So this is nothing new. This is just the digital version of it. So I think it's really just obnoxious internet denizens kind of hating on self-promotional stuff, but it is also because nowadays maybe that used to be novel. You could have a cassette tape, hand it out, and on every single corner there wasn't somebody giving you a cassette tape, whereas you go on the internet and every inch of the internet is filled with people trying to promote their fucking sell their shit. So I guess I guess it is more of a dirty word nowadays too.
Well, I also think, with the zombie film, with these small films particularly, it's like you only have one choice, and that is to keep talking about it, try and keep it in people's heads, and keep, because, just as a perfect example, I was speaking with a friend of mine, Jason Lennon, who just doesn't go on Facebook very much.
Yeah.
And he goes, so how can I get a copy of the film?
Yeah.
And we have been pummeling
it.
people over the head with the idea, of how you can get the film. It's in every link, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the same with Pauline, our friend Pauline. She was like, yeah, so what's going on with the film? And I was like, you haven't been checking Facebook? She's like, well, I've been replying to messages, but I haven't really just been paying attention. And so, you just got to keep doing it. You got to keep going.
You do. Well, I think actually that's why we've had so much traffic, is because of our it's not because of, we've been blessed with any sort of massive marketing budget or anything like that. It's been you and me yelling about it on Facebook all day.
No, I think, I guess the release of this film, I think, is kind of a future template for other small films of this type.
I've got some advice for Facebook for anybody out there that wants to self-promote. And I always thought this was effective, but now I know it's effective, right? And that is, whenever you post something, always post links in the description. Even if it's just a photo of yourself, you change your profile picture, right? But that's okay. Make sure in the description of that photo you say, hey, this is me at the park. By the way, have you seen my latest song, or have you watched my latest music video, or whatever? And it seems a little bit needy, but hey, that is a billboard right there. That's a billboard. And every time you change your profile picture, potentially hundreds of people might see that. And that's just, they can either have heard of your new thing and potentially watch it or listen to it, or they could not have. And I always thought it was effective. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a good idea, but I started using Bitly recently. I've been on Bitly for ages. It's it's a link shortening website where you essentially paste in the link that you want to shorten. It shortens it down, but it also gives you tracking of it, so it tells you how many people have clicked on it. And so the other night I posted a bunch of links in the descriptions of some photos, and it's had like 120 clicks.
Really?
Yeah, onto the so this was onto the DVD. So it was like here's a picture. It was like, here's a picture, and then it was like do you want to buy the DVD? You can right here. And I posted that link. And now, this was only like yesterday, and it's had 120 clicks. So 120 people have clicked directly onto the website where you can buy the DVD.
That's really interesting.
That's pretty impressive.
I really wish that would be using that link earlier.
The whole time.
Because I've been posting, first we started off with the full link because we're sort of lazy, and not lazy, we just didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
And
there's just a million other things to do.
Yeah, and then we went to the Bitly link, but I was just using
the wrong one.
Yeah. So I really wish I'd known that.
Yeah. So start using the one that I've been posting in the descriptions. Put it everywhere.
But that leads us into something else that I want to talk about. And that is the fans. The fan feedback.
Yes.
The film's just out, and, we have had a lot of people get back to us and say they really dug the film.
Yeah.
Like heaps and heaps of people.
Yeah.
Just talking and saying like, hey, really enjoyed the film. Hey, support this film, guys. This is awesome. A lot of people I didn't really expect that it was going to be good.
Yeah.
But you surprised us.
But I was pleasantly surprised, yeah.
You surprised us. And I think that is, kind of... I think about this sometimes because, we work very hard, on our stuff.
Yep.
We do it for what sometimes seems like little to no reward, or little to no money. And, so a lot of the time you're kind of thinking is like, man, I'm spending hours and hours on this stuff, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, my whole life dedicated to this thing that does not give me anything financially back at the moment. And so, what sustains you, what keeps you going, what motivates you to make the next thing? And it's people's feedback. It's people saying like, hey man, I watched the film. Some guy was like, I watched the film and then I watched the film with all the commentary tracks.
That's what I was just looking up right now.
Film again.
That was Brian. I believe I'm just finding out. I believe his name's Brian Collins, and he watched it 5 times in a row. He said because he watched it, just without the commentary, just the regular film. That's how he first watched it. Then he watched it with all 3 of the commentaries. So he watched it again, and watched it again with 3 different commentaries that we had put on there. And then he went back and watched it again with with the new information that he had from listen to the commentaries. So he watched it 5 times in a row. So he said, I got it delivered on Friday and I'm so glad I did. First time in my life I've ever sat down and watched a movie 5 times in one go. First the movie, then the commentaries, then the movie again. Well, holy shit, that's a hell of an endorsement.
Yeah. And also I guess that's the kind of thing when you do spend every waking moment working on something that you hope that someone somewhere will do. Someone will be that into it that they do that.
Yeah.
And then, it's just incredibly validating. And I guess really I just wanted to say to all the people that have got back to us, to all the people that are sharing our stuff and sort of talking about it and sort of getting back to us. I've had messages from sort of old high school friends that have got back to me and stuff, just out of the blue, say hey man, I checked out the film, I downloaded the film, whatever. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, because that is the reason why we do it, really. And it's the reason why we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, so thank you, Brian, and all the rest of you. And perhaps on a more broad note, perhaps the message could be, so, dear listener, if you know somebody out there that's creating things, just know that your feedback, your positive reinforcement really does mean a lot to them. So don't be shy to tell your friend who's a shitty poet that he's really, what you like about his poems.
Oh, God, Jesus. It's come to this, has it? All right, look, Harley, I think you're a good poet, okay? I think your poetry's good, and I'm impressed by your poetry.
Thank you. I'm just saying thank you. That's what I'm saying. You're just saying it means a lot. Just saying it means a lot.
So, I think that's really good. And I guess while we're on the subject, look, we can't go past it without a little plug, which is just to say, man, if you're digging the film, the way that we're going to kind of be successful, the way that this film is going to be really successful is through word of mouth. So it's through the people like yourself that enjoy it, and that enjoy our stuff, kind of sharing it and just telling other people about it. So I encourage you to tell other people about it. But also another great way you can help us, which is really easy to do, is write a little review on the Mighty 8 website.
Yep.
Click through to the link,
iTunes, right?
Or iTunes, because we do have some great reviews on the Mighty Ape.
Yeah, but we need more.
One posted by Harley.
Maybe a couple. Maybe there was a couple.
Maybe 2.
There might have been 3.
Maybe one posted by Angie, one posted by Harley.
And one posted by a guy from my work.
Right. So 3 of the 8 reviews.
They're from me. But, you had to get the ball rolling, guys.
That's right.
This is what we're talking about. You got to get the ball rolling with the self-promotion.
Yeah.
But you got to make it look like you're not promoting.
Yeah. So I guess what, if you dug the film, if you're one of those people that has seen it, write a review click through to the iTunes link, or click through to the Mighty Ape link and just write a little review. It can just be like, this is cool, 5 stars. Doesn't matter. You don't have to, write a novel or anything, but it's all about, in this crazy world we live in, it's all about the algorithms, man. It's all about the algorithms. And for instance, the people at Mighty Ape, right? Now, if they say that you've got 20 comments, 25-star reviews of this film. They're like, okay, 1, we need to make sure that we're stocking this, and 2, maybe we'll feature this in one of our little ad bits, and you know,
Yep.
and it sort of goes on. And same with iTunes. Like iTunes currently is not featuring our film, like, you know,
Yep.
prominently right now. If it got, you know, 10, 15, 20 great reviews, suddenly they're like, okay, so people are interested in this. If they're interested in this, we can make money off this.
Yeah.
If we can make money off this, let's make sure that it's shared as, like, you know, one of the films that's coming out.
Yeah.
And that all helps everyone,
Yeah.
basically.
So help us, guys. But thank you so much for all your help so far.
But thank you for your help so far.
One last very small brag before we go on to the next topic.
Sold out? Is that what we're talking
Sold
about?
out in Dunedin. Apparently, now we're hearing rumours that it's sold out in Dunedin
Yep.
at the warehouse in town. It's apparently so this guy went. It was not Tyler Adams. It was
Nick Barner, our inside man in
Yeah.
Dunedin. He's our inside man.
He went to the warehouse to buy it. Wasn't there. Had to go out to South Dunedin. Had to brave South Dunedin.
Which is a terrifying, ordeal for anyone.
That's where I'm from. That's why I'm so hard, you know. And so then he had to go out to South Dunedin, and he bought the last one in the store apparently. And then we also got feedback from Jason Lennon, who said that he went to the Queenstown warehouse and
Yeah.
he bought the last one there as well. So
That's right.
It's going good.
So believe that. It's, yeah. So, you know, demand it of people.
Demand it. All right, cool. So that was 16 minutes worth of bragging about our film.
Wow.
What else we got?
Interesting topics. So I did want to talk a little bit also about my birthday.
Yeah.
Turned
Raging success.
32.
Yeah, turned 32. How did that feel?
Didn't feel great.
To be 32 for me, which was only like last month, was not a big one for me. I was like, take it or leave it. It just didn't really bother me, you know.
I think
31 was a bit of a shock for me.
Right. So 30 was my worst one.
You're right.
You know, and you know, it was just a bit of a birthday disaster on the day as well. You know, everything seemed to go wrong for me. I ended up watching The Master, which is not a film that you want to watch if you're already in the throes of despair.
Yep.
It's kind of about Scientology, and basically this, like, the main character is the creepiest, most disgusting character anyway, and he's your main guy you're following, and he's jerking off on a beach.
Right. So he's the masturbator.
Yeah, he is the masturbator. There's many scenes of him jerking off in this
Right.
film, and he's kind of a pervy dude. Not that there's anything wrong with jerking off on a beach.
Or being a pervy dude.
You know, the sun shining down, that you hear the waves crashing on the beach. Mm-hmm. You hear a family from a distance away saying, "What the hell is that guy doing?"
No. Yeah, you go, well, I enjoy movies and long wanks on the beach.
a classic Harley Neville line.
Yeah. Wrote that 10 years ago.
Classic Harley Neville pickup line.
Yeah.
So that wasn't great, but 30 second, it wasn't too bad. But like, I just want to break it down for you guys. If you're wondering about my life, right?
Okay.
I worked the night before, which means that
This year?
This year.
Yep.
So I finished at 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. I went to the gym. Mm-hmm. Then I went with you to do a radio interview, which took us through to about, I think we got back about 10.
And at that time, you know, when I saw a guy that morning,
Yep.
I had forgotten that it was his birthday.
And didn't mention it.
Well, I didn't mention it, yeah.
At the time, because he'd forgotten.
Now, to be fair, I had mentioned it 10 days prior on the 16th because I thought that was his birthday.
Which was terrible because...
We've been friends for like 18 years or something.
Well, there's definitely that. But he also did this to me last year.
Yeah.
He wished me a happy birthday, I'm pretty sure on the same day,
10 days
days
before.
prior. And I said, Harley,
Look,
my birthday is on the fucking 26th, all right? And he was like, oh yeah, my bad, dog. And then he did exactly the same thing this year.
Look, it's because 16 and 26 are very similar, okay? They've both got a 6 in them. I got the month right.
Yeah.
And also our friend Nick Larson, his birthday's on the 16th of February, which is a different month, but it's on the 16th. So there's that 16-26 confusion there. Now, sure, I'm your best friend.
Sure, it's 18 years of doing this.
We've been friends for literally 18 years.
Sure, I corrected you last year when you did it.
But, you know, do you know what's really sweet about it? Is that as I wished him a happy birthday, I had a big bottle of beer with a ribbon on it.
Which we're drinking right now.
Well, no, because I gave him the big bottle of beer on the 16th as well.
Oh, that's right. And
a
then
different bottle of beer.
We actually drunk that, so he had to get more beer.
Yeah.
He had to get He had to get me 2 birthday presents of beer.
So there you go. So that makes it all worth it, right?
I guess it does, because I got 2 birthday presents.
Yeah, no, I better not claim all of that. Angie, they're from Angie as well.
Very nice, thank you.
Angie actually is the one that bought them.
Oh, right.
But I paid her half the money. You know.
Have you done that yet? Paid her half the money?
No.
But in spirit, it was from you both.
Yeah, I'm paying her back. You know, I'm in debt.
So anyway, we had that radio interview. Got back 10. Did a few things. Went to bed. Got back up 3 hours later. Did another radio interview.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a hard life.
Went to bed for another 3 hours. Got up. We had dinner with our friend Leisha. Mm-hmm. And then I went to work. So that was my birthday.
Mm-hmm. And that was the best one you've had in years.
And that was a highlight. I mean, it felt like a pretty cool birthday to me.
No stress.
It felt like a pretty quiet birthday.
Tell me this, though. How is your mental health as far as turning 32?
It's not good.
You know?
It's not
how
good.
are you feeling about it all?
There's definitely problems in my mental health.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mental health problems.
Yeah.
I do have them.
Uh-huh.
I think that, I feel like, I guess the big issue is that this zombie film took us 5 years to make.
Yeah.
And we were kind of thinking it was going to take us
1 year.
Just over a year.
Yeah.
And in my head, I imagined this young, still 20-something dude having released his first feature film, which was a raging success, released everywhere theatrically and making millions of dollars. And none of those things happened.
Well, it's very early. You can't say that it's not going to make millions of dollars, with the international sales and all that stuff. I mean, it's been out for literally like 3 days or something.
Yeah.
And it seems to be going very well as far as we can deduce,
Yeah. Sold out.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess I just thought, we'd all be seeing it in cinemas for a long time before what it's currently, which is DVD and iTunes. But, so definitely not just, I guess it's that thing is like basically from making something for 5 years, I feel has put me 2 movies behind in my life.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm behind in obviously what I wanted to achieve and what I had my sort of heart set on and where I'm at. And also I feel like even now, because, essentially we shot older almost 2 years ago, right? It was the end of 2013. But it did sort of carry on into 2014. So you could say it was not quite that long, but still I just get that kind of creeping feeling like, oh, this is another thing that I planned for it to take a year and is now taking much longer. And that is, in fact, because of the zombie film. Yeah. And doing stuff for that. Yeah. So there's, again, the sense of now I feel like I've released 1 movie. I feel like I should have done at least 2 movies. Yeah. Possibly 3. So in terms of where I'm at, career-wise, I'm not a big fan. Now let's talk about my love life for a little second. Where I'm at with my love life, I'm not a big fan, which is single, which is, not doing that great. And, going on some dates. Can't complain about the dates. Dates been good. But definitely also, no stable, loving relationship. No, kind of, I guess just imagine this, I was with some person, we were a team and I was making the films and she was an actress or some beautiful actress, Natalie Portman. I just say Natalie Portman. Yeah. Can we say Natalie Portman?
Yeah,
Natalie Portman. I was married to Natalie Portman, where I imagine being 32. Yeah. She got married to someone else. Yeah. And I haven't finished my second fucking feature film. Yeah. And
look. Yeah. These are all valid points.
Yeah. Oh well, and also poor living in a this tiny room, which is smaller than the room that I had when I was a boy growing up, in a not great house. In debt up to my eyeballs. There's just a few issues there.
Yeah. Well, these are all valid concerns, guys. Sure. These are things you should be concerned about all of these things.
Yes. I should be depressed is what you're saying.
I'm saying just give up. No, so but I think as well, you have a habit of focusing on those negatives instead of the positives. You see, the way I'd be looking at it is I'd be like, well, shit, I've shot 2 feature films. My first one's out. First one was always going to take the longest.
Yep.
You know, it was always going to take the longest.
Yep.
Because you're just learning lessons and all the rest of it. You know, and as a result of all that has been achieved in the first one. You know, the second one went a million times smoother.
That's true.
And once sort of you are fully untangled from Zombie Holocaust, you know, I don't really think Older will take that long to really smash out.
No, I agree.
And then just say we do manage to secure some funding for, you know, a third film. I think that one is going to go, you know, a lot smoother than Zombie Holocaust, simply because of all those lessons learned about workflow, about, you know, just planning, about all that stuff that basically went wrong in the first one, obviously is not going to go wrong in the second one, all going well. So, you know, I think it's, you know, really it'll be kind of more like, oh yeah, I've done 3 films in 6 years, or, you know, something like that at some point.
You're saying don't give up.
I'm saying don't give up. Well, it doesn't matter. You got nothing else to do.
You got nothing else to do.
What else are you going to do?
So if you give up, you're just going to be a sad loser.
Exactly. Like,
full stop.
You know, that's sort of our saving grace is that I don't have, well, neither of us have a plan B.
No.
You know, like I have no intention of going back to uni and like studying accounting.
No.
You know, or opening a shop or something. You know, like it just doesn't interest me. Like this is the path I'm on, and for better or worse, this is where it's taken me. You know.
Well, speaking of, I read this little quote from Kevin Smith today on his Facebook. Kevin Smith, the director of Clerks and Mallrats and most recently Tusk, but certainly one of my Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Jersey Girl.
Yeah, let's not forget Jersey Girl,
Let's not
which
forget
I
Jersey
think
Girl.
is quite underrated.
Yep.
I actually thought that was totally fine. But, you know, the knives were out from at that time.
Yeah. It had Ben Affleck in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And J-Lo.
There's the problem. It was the
Well,
casting.
did you watch it though?
They're just so I don't think so. But they're just but it was because I was like J-Lo and Ben Affleck. They're just both so punchable.
Well,
you know?
I mean, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Prejudging.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And it happened. You know, it's what I did. It affected me. It affected my choice to watch it. I was like, man.
Okay, so this is what he wrote. 30 years ago from this moment, I was a sophomore in first period English class. Mere weeks from the end of the 1985 school year. 30 years later, the only things that have really changed about me since then, I don't have any class, and I masturbate way more now. I realize one might have something to do with the other. And I was like, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this stuff too, masturbating too much.
Yep. Well, you know, nothing else to do.
And I've got nothing going on.
Yeah.
Because I maybe failed school.
Yeah. Oh, good. So that means
thank you, Kevin.
You know, you guys are, you know, kin.
Yes. So we've got some listener questions.
All right. Well, actually, I just want to hark quickly back to that birthday business, which
Birthday
is... Boy. Well, I just wanted to talk about, you know, aging in general, I guess. And
right.
I think 30 actually wasn't too bad for me.
Right.
But I think it's, you know, I was a little bit lost for a while there. I was like, what am I doing? You know, like, who am I? What do I care about? You know, what's important to Harley Neville? You know?
Yep.
What do I contribute to the world? What's my place?
Because the answer was nothing at the time.
Well, you know, I mean, as much as it is now.
No, well, I disagree. Did you have another further thing to say?
Well, only just that 31, though, was the one that really kind of hit me in the guts. Because 30, I guess I had all this stuff going on, and I was really, you know, in two minds about who I was, and I was really unsure about a lot of things, and taking a bit of processing, you know. I was writing a lot of things down, and then...
smoking a lot of weed.
And then 31, though, was the one that was like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm, like... in my 30s, you know, I'm in my 30s?
Who am I? What have I done?
What is this? So
it's really, I tell you what, for people that are in their 20s, it's real alarming to get out of your 20s.
Yeah, it is a bit.
It's really jarring.
Yeah.
Because you're like, shit, I qualified myself as a young person for all this time.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're saying that I'm not a young person, but I actually feel the same as when I was a young person.
Exactly.
And I want to be as cool as young people. And now you're saying I'm not as cool.
Yeah.
But I don't understand because I haven't done anything different.
Yeah.
It's just a number, guys. It's just a number.
I read this thing online. It was like, some dumb meme, and it was like, I feel like a 20-year-old until I hang out with a 20-year-old, and then I'm like, nah, I'm 30.
Yeah.
Because it's so true. You look at them, they're like such dumb little shits.
Oh, definitely. Also, I think, I made a film about it. So when I turned 30, I just made a whole film about my crisis.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's what you should do.
Well, that's if you can, yeah, definitely. Some people don't have that outlet.
But you were going to say anyway.
That I was going to say that you've become a renowned poet and scholar. You've become a philosopher. You've become many things, and that was what your decision was. You're like, I'm going to change the world.
I became a pseudo semi-vegetarian. I became a vegetarian that eats bacon.
I'm going to change the world by playing nerdy character roles. Self-deprecating nerdy character roles, but also a poet, and you have just written a poem, and it has just been dropped online.
Yep, so that's just before we started recording the podcast, I released a poem about plastic. It's an animated poem, animated by Joshua Marchant, and sound design by Mike Newport. He's the guy that composed the zombie film, and he did a great job. And Race Hannay did a good job of recording it too. So yeah, and we're kind of hoping that one will get a lot of views. It's just a little animation called...
What is it called?
Message in a Bottle.
Right.
Because it's about plastic.
Called plastic for some reason.
Yeah, well, I guess...
even though it says message in the bottle multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I really like this one. It's quite chilling, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to play it on the podcast right now.
Are we?
Yeah, I'll put it in.
Okay, good.
So this is Message in a Bottle.
Consider this. Every piece of plastic you have ever touched still exists. Every bottle of Coke, every dispenser of soap, every spray and wipe, every Sprite, every beer at a rugby game, any beauty product you care to name. They all still exist. Then there's the dishwashing liquid, those little bottles of liquor, your baby sipper from when you needed a babysitter, the ball you kicked when you were a kid, the disposable nappies that caught your shit. They all still exist. You can send them up in smoke, but they never break down. Their core components will remain forever abound. It's plastic, not magic. So it doesn't disappear. It's literally floating in the ocean or in the atmosphere. So next time you're at the beach and you see a bottle bobbing by, know that bottle is a message traversing the ocean of time.
Well, food for thought.
There you go. Like that. Recycle, kids. Recycle.
That's basically what he's saying.
Not just that, but buy less plastic stuff.
But I guess it does. I mean, I certainly thought, it's plastic, not magic. a gem of a line. You rhyme plastic and magic. You see.
Yeah, but it works because it doesn't disappear.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
like
there's levels, man. There's layers. It's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep. But I sometimes think about that, now that fucking poem is in my head sometimes when I'm like purchasing things.
Because guys had to listen to it.
Yeah, a lot of times.
From across the hall.
I hear Harley's voice like as I'm purchasing or as I'm throwing something out. It's like, it's plastic.
Not magic.
And I'm like, oh, fuck off. I get it, all right? I shouldn't be doing this. But fucking what for me?
Do you know how I came up with that idea? I was in our shower in this very flat, right? I was in there one day, and this was back when I used to buy body wash in a bottle just like everyone else, and I was in there, and like I was having a shower, and I looked around, and I was like, fuck, there's a lot of bottles in here, and I actually counted, and there was something like 47 like bottles / toothpaste / everything. Like there was like 47 kind of plastic things just at a glance, that was out without really going into sort of a really thorough search, through the bathroom. And I was like, fuck. There's like 5 people that live in this house, and there's like 40-something bottles just in this room, and they're all going to be thrown away. And next week there'll be a new one,
Yep.
And I was like, man, I was like, shit, that's a lot of plastic, And it kind of got me thinking about the size of the mountain of plastic that I would have if I had kept every piece of plastic that I'd ever touched, And then that was basically where it came from.
Right. Well, look, man, I like it. I'm on board.
So check that out if you haven't seen the animation. It's got a cool animation, so check it out and hit share if you want to change the world.
If you feel like changing the world today,
and buy less plastic,
hit share. That's all you have to do to change the world. Pay it forward, like that stupid fucking movie. Okay, so now we've got a list of listener questions.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
Where are we at, dog?
So here we have a listener question from Raul Shahil. Raul Shahil. I'd say that's how you say it. Raul Shahil. Now, this guy came to the premiere of the film. I hadn't met him before in person, but he seemed like a nice guy. We got a photo, and him and his friends came up and said hello, and so it was pretty cool. And then he sent me a couple of topics. He said, "How do you start up a conversation without making it awkward between you and the person?" Particularly,
I have this problem with girls all the time, man.
Yeah, he's not just saying girls though. He's saying just people in general. Especially when you know very little about them, and you're at an event, a party, or something like that. How do you initiate conversation without it making it awkward? Yeah. And he says in brackets here, it was a little bit awkward for him trying to start conversation with some of the cast members of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, because he didn't know them. So yeah, what do you do to
This is a tricky one.
Make it less awkward.
Because I talked to my boy Carl Urban at the Mowers.
Yeah, I was too scared. I just got a picture with the back of his head when he wasn't
and I got
looking.
a photo with him as well. But I think it's really tricky because you've got these people that you really respect and you've really admired, and they've done like quite influential things that have influenced and inspired you in your own life. And then how do you say to them, how do you get that across to them without seeming like a mad person? Because the problem with the industry, I'm saying that's sort of the entertainment industry, is that it's full of fucking nut jobs. That's the real problem. That they just attract so many nut jobs, and it's like sometimes you seem like one of them, but you don't want to. And there's no quicker way to seem like a nut job than to come up to someone you don't know and go, hey, I really like your stuff, man. I think you're really cool. I've watched it like 5 million times. And I remember this quote when you did this thing, and that was really amazing. And it is, and then there's suddenly like, yeah, cool, man. Hey, look, I've just got to go over and talk to other people that are definitely not you. But I think the thing is just to be respectful. So, don't charge in and go, Harley Neville, Harley, vroom, vroom, can I take a photo with you? Like, I mean, you'd probably like that if...
I wouldn't. I'd hate it if somebody came up to me and was like, Harley Neville, vroom, vroom. Is your cousin a Suzuki? Is your cousin's name Suzuki?
Too many childhood memories. Too many childhood memories brought up.
I mean, we've had this conversation before, I'm sure, but it's just so dumb when people make dumb jokes about your name. It's like, trust me, man, if you meet somebody with an interesting or unusual name and a joke pops to your head about their name, I guarantee they've heard it before. Yeah. They've heard it since primary school. It's not entertaining. It's not insulting. It's just dumb. It just makes you look dumb. You're like, oh, yep. You didn't really think that through, did you? I've definitely heard that one.
Guy, you must be a funny guy.
Guy, smiley.
So yeah, look, don't. So I would just say, like, come in and go, hey man, look, I'm a big fan of your stuff. I really like these things. And don't go too in depth with it. Just say like, I was really a big fan of this film or that film. And like, thank you. I think, that's totally fine, is to say like, so thank you for that, because that's really cool. And then that can lead into, a conversation.
Well, potentially, I feel like part of the issue is that, like, imagine this person wasn't famous and you just walked up to them, at the bus stop. You're at the bus stop and you decide to make polite conversation with somebody. Chances are it's not going to be like an awesome conversation, No. You're two strangers sort of trying to force it. So what do you expect to happen, really?
But at the end of the day, like, as we just said with feedback, like, entertainers do want validation.
They do.
And, some entertainers will kind of become a bit snooty and feel like they're above that kind of casual interaction from a fan, like saying they're a fan. But there's others that if you phrase it right and don't sound like a fucking nut job, they will go, hey, that kind of just made my day. There was a tweet that Robin Williams, like, someone just tweeted Robin Williams and he was like, hey man, like, we just watched something and it was really funny, you just made our day. And he actually tweeted back and he was like, hey, thank you, blah blah blah, you just made my day. And that's the thing. So you can have that sort of interaction. I think it's just a matter of being respectful, not taking it for granted that, they're just going to want to talk to you, and kind of being like normal and polite. Politeness, I think, is a real key. But, it's a tricky one.
It is tricky. I think the tricky thing here is just that, you don't know them. How do you have a legitimately interesting conversation with someone that you do not know at all? That obviously the only thing you're going to have to say is about their work. It's about what you know them from, and that's kind of but it's the same thing that people always talk to them about,
Yeah, but I think
hey, I really liked you.
But as long as
He-Man.
I think the other thing is He-Man, Masters of the Universe, talking about my favorite Dolph Lundgren film of all time. I think as long as also just keeping it brief.
Yeah.
So just go, hey, I think you're awesome. I love what you do. These are the things that I really liked. And then if that leads to like some extra conversation, great. If it doesn't, then fine. Then take a photo and get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out while you can.
Yeah. So that's good though.
Yeah, it is a good topic, but the answer is that I don't have a good response. Now, second question from Raul is... what's your opinion on changing the New Zealand flag, which is costing $26 million? Do you support the idea? Are you against it, or you just don't care?
Well, look, I want to throw in a bit of Star Wars quote here.
Okay.
Luke Skywalker's like, what do you think of the princess? And Han Solo's like, believe me, kid, I'm trying not to. Well, what do you think of the flag? Same response, man.
Right.
Ridiculous. Look, our flag has worked out as our flag for, I don't know, 100 years, couple hundred.
Well, I think we're like, isn't this country like 180 years old?
So let's say 180 years. No one gave a shit up until now. What's the point in spending $26 million to change it from something that no one gave a shit about before?
Yeah. Well, I'm much the same. It's not that I don't think our flag is that cool. I think it's too close to the Australian one. It's too close to all the other Commonwealth ones with the Union Jack on it. It would be cool to have a different flag perhaps that represented us more. But I also this is not a $26 million job.
No.
This is a couple of $1,000. Let's sort it out. And even that seems a bit silly. But
where's the $26 million? Is it because all the flags have to be changed?
No, I think it's because
the design of the flag.
It's the design.
Yeah.
B, it's all the flags need to be changed and everything else that it's on. It's on our licenses. It's on everything.
Yeah.
But also, I think they've got people that they're paying, people, staff, advisors on hand to talk about it, and these people are getting paid thousands of dollars. These experts and flags, I guess. So the whole thing is, it's just that fat, bloated bureaucracy kind of. You can't do something like that without it costing $26 million in sort of. This sort of governmental system. Everything costs ridiculous amounts. So yeah, basically, like, I don't really love our old flag, but it's doing fine. It ain't broke, so why fix it?
Yeah.
Just it's cool. It's fine, man. So yeah, I think it's silly. I think that we should spend $26 million on basically anything else that's more important. If you wanted to pump another $26 million into the education system, well, how can that be a bad thing? Even though it's a drop in the bucket, like, it's still a good thing. Put it on, homelessness, mental health issues, like the health system, like there's so many better places that $26 million could be spent. Fix the roads, like whatever. Like just put it towards that stuff because,
Design an Auckland infrastructure that does not get clogged up at every single main point.
Yeah. So, look, don't change it. That's my thoughts. But I think it's going to happen anyway. Because this is the kind of democracy where they don't care what the people think.
Well, look, I just wanted to have another little note. So, we got any more questions, or is that we're done? We're good.
I believe that's it.
All
for
right.
the questions.
I did just want to mention one thing.
Yes.
I received a card in the mail the other day. A black Cinebuzz Event Cinemas card. Mm-hmm. Right now, when this is basically means that I have graduated to King fucking nerd.
What is this, like a regular moviegoer card that gets you discounts or something?
Negative. They only give it to the nerdiest of film goers. Right. So, like, basically, when you're really rich and successful, they give you a black credit card, a black Visa or MasterCard or something, which gives you some sort of like unlimited credit limit or some fucking nonsense. Or maybe it's $1 million. I don't know how much it is because I will never ever get one.
Yeah.
But they basically like, so if you're sort of bragging that you've got, I've got the black, platinum whatever card.
Yeah.
That means that you're the most ballingest of balling motherfuckers out there.
Okay, so spit it out. What's this got to do with movies?
So I got that, but the movie equivalent,
Right.
the movie nerd equivalent,
Yep.
was given to me because basically you've got your regular Cinebuzz card, which anyone can get.
Yeah.
And then they only bestow this upon the true fucking the true nerds who go to the films way too often, and it gives you like unlimited popcorn.
Like free, like you just go in and get popcorn.
Well, it's like a bottomless popcorn, so I think
Right,
you
so
pay
you
for
still got to buy it.
Yeah, it's a pretty genius because no one's going to buy more than one popcorn.
Yeah.
So when you offer unlimited popcorn, it's like, whip this shit. What am I like halfway through the movie going to go and
Get
go,
up and
top
get a
me
new
up,
one?
please?
Well, exactly.
Top me up my fucking popcorn.
Especially because when you buy a popcorn, like
You have too much anyway.
Yeah, exactly. When you end up, chucking it under the seats and stuff like that, and squashing it into the carpet with your feet.
Yeah, or spilling it all down your front and pants.
Yeah.
And like having like little bits just everywhere. Yeah, so that's me. I've got that platinum unlimited popcorn. That's me. I've did it. I've graduated. So if you've got a black Cinebuzz card, you're the fucking real deal, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's next on the agenda?
Well, that's it. I think that's all.
That's this Murder, She Wrote.
Although I will just say, been enjoying a couple of films recently.
Yeah, what do you got?
Or when I say films, I mean TV shows.
Yep.
Daredevil.
Oh, really? Is that? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, you're a notorious hater of superheroes.
I hate them. I hate them because they're basically invincible.
Well, no problems with Daredevil. He's fucking blind. That's a special power. So you don't need to worry about him being invincible. He can't see shit. That's his thing.
Right.
He's got extra senses because he can't see.
Yeah, makes sense.
So anyway, basically Daredevil is being released through Netflix. It was released all at once. One of these sort of new TV shows that they just dump all at once and they say, binge watch the shit out of this, bro.
Yep.
And I was skeptical because I'm getting superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
I think
had it a long time ago.
I think we're all suffering from superhero fatigue, which, too many Avengers, too many Ages of Ultron, too many Iron Mans, and so I was kind of like, fuck. And also, you think because it's a TV show, well, they're going to only do a shitter version.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the money to do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Daredevil was because he's kind of like Batman in the sense that he doesn't have any real true powers, He's a blind guy. Mm-hmm. And his other senses have been enhanced because he's blind. Mm. That's it.
Yeah.
And he's good with like kung fu and shit. Mm. Like, that's all.
Mm-hmm. That is just like that movie about that guy that gets
Daredevil?
blinded in Vietnam.
Oh, Blind Fury?
Blind Fury.
Is that what it's called?
I think it is called that. Yeah.
Is it Nick Nolte or is it Rutger Hauer? One of those two.
Yeah, I think it might be. I suspect it's Nick Nolte, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that old classic. Yeah, it's basically that. So someone. Oh, you're right. Someone. Harley's stoking the fire. This is the first time we've had an intimate fire podcast where the fire's been blazing behind us in a romantic fashion. But yeah, someone watched Blind Fury and they're like, you know what? This is a good superhero. In fact, there's actually a guy in it called Styx or something like that,
right? Who
taught Daredevil, who is basically the Blind Fury character.
He got blinded in Vietnam, and now he's.
I don't know where he got blinded, but he is like the age of a Vietnam vet and is fully like that guy.
Yeah. So, what'd you think of it?
Well, this is why I thought it was good. Like, one, very violent.
Okay. Now, there's no spoilers. You're not going to give any spoilers, right? All right.
Very violent, so much more gory than like any of the other superhero stuff.
I'll tell you what I like: movie violence. Big fan.
Well, that's why you like this.
Yeah.
So essentially, there's lots of blood. There's lots of hellacious beatings.
Mm-hmm.
Someone got beheaded in it. Mm-hmm. I guess there's a spoiler, but you don't know who.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't Daredevil, so don't worry. Daredevil did not get beheaded.
Okay.
So anyway, that makes it already like good, and then it's kind of has this gritty sort of urban. It's set in Hell's Kitchen in New York, I believe. Mm-hmm. So again, it has this kind of gritty, like down to earth feel. No one's flying about, right? And it's all to do with this sort of crime underworld and like Daredevil trying to like put an end to the shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And so one of the greatest things about it, 0 CG.
Great.
None.
Yep. It's the way of the future.
But very elaborate fight scenes.
Yep.
So you have like these awesome like kick-ass action sequences with Daredevil like beating the crap out of a bunch of people. And it looks really good. It's shot really, really well. They clearly spent all their time and money shooting these scenes. And it's very refreshing to not see someone with a giant hammer like smash it into the ground and see like a million fake monsters blow away in the breeze. Like, there's none of that stuff. It's all just fisticuffs. And so that's really cool. The whole sort of crime element, they've got a very cool bad guy who in fact is... I can't remember the name of the actor, but he's the dude in Full Metal Jacket, Gomer Pyle, the one that the fat guy that gets picked on until he meets an unfortunate end.
Yep.
So he is the main bad guy in it,
right?
And he's like a very chilling and like very like you're like, man, there's so much stuff going on, and that's what you really need. So you need in like these types of things, you need like a good antagonist. You need a great villain that has layers. That's just not like a kind of a cartoonly I'm gonna get you, Daredevil.
Yeah.
And so like all of those things combined make it very different to all the other superhero stuff going on and very interesting to watch. So if you haven't caught Daredevil, recommend that one.
Okay, good. I probably won't watch it.
Well, you should. I think you'd like it.
It's because I hate those. I just don't have time, man. I want to watch Mad Max. Still haven't got round to it.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, well, it's on my to-do list.
Well, I've been meaning to watch it for another couple of times, and I haven't watched it at all.
Well, tomorrow during the day.
Date night.
Date day.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't start work until like 6 p.m. Right. Now, last week we mentioned I coined the phrase polar bear, and we talking about my chest hair going grey. I'm in the gay community. I would be considered a bear because I'm hairy.
Yep.
But and I said I was going to be a polar bear because I am going grey and I'm hairy.
Yeah.
And we wondered if I had coined that. That has been cleared up for us. Raul Shahil sent us this thing saying the definition of polar bear. Polar bear, gay slang for a grey-haired, older, hairy, chubby guy. Or a guy that looks like Santa Claus without the suit. So there you go. I didn't invent it.
And here's an example of it in the conversation. I have abandonment issues with my dad, so I tend to be into polar bears.
So there you go.
So that's where Harley fits into conversation.
Yeah. That's how I start conversations when I meet celebrities. I bring that up.
Amazing.
And then one more viewer topic that we had, listener topic, is from Cara Ward Butt, who says, I wonder if... so she says, halal certification, is it good for New Zealand or not? So you know what halal is?
No.
It's like Muslim meat, as far as I know. Basically, it's like, some people don't want to eat meat unless it's been blessed in a certain way and killed in a certain way.
Yep.
Which sounds very noble. It sounds like it's a good thing. Like, oh, maybe it's more humane or something.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's basically they're not allowed. There's only certain ways that they can be killed, and it's not necessarily the quickest way. And that's the. I mean, I haven't done enough research, but basically, it's a more brutal way of killing them, which is already brutal. And makes, as far as I'm aware, it also makes it more expensive. Like that's why you walk along to the kebab place and it says halal certified. Like I'm pretty sure they pay extra for that.
Right.
But basically, it's silly religious mumbo jumbo, where they just charge more for the same cow, except for it's been killed in another way.
It's been halaled.
Exactly. And so basically she wanted to discuss it. But sadly, I don't have too much to say about it, except for, obviously, I think it's a silly load of shit. I don't think that... Well, I mean, I just hate religion. I hate it. So that's a big part of it, part of why. But, any type of blessing the meat before you eat it, like, what's the point? You're just wasting your time. You're charging extra money for the silly stuff. And the worst thing about it is that the animals are treated worse than they would be if they were just killed normally. So basically, for religion, animals are suffering more when they're already suffering in the meat industry anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, do I think it's good for New Zealand? No. I think I just think it's the silly, irrelevant, kind of dumb thing to do.
Well, look, I'm pretty much off the meat now.
Are you?
No. I'm on the chicken and I'm off the other meat. Out of responsibility for the world.
Are you really, though? Is that why? Or is it because of, like, some diet
Well, it's also
thing?
not very healthy for you.
Yeah, well, I assumed that's what you were going to say.
There's absolutely no reason why you would, tuck it into steaks all the time. They're not actually good for you, and neither's bacon. So you could construe it either way, but I'm just going to say that I feel I'm making a difference.
Yeah. Well, you are. Like, the thing is that, red meat is very bad for the environment. All the trees they have to cut down for the grass, and then all the runoff from all the shit that ends up from the cows, it ends up in rivers. Not to mention the cows don't live, like, particularly happy lives, like...
Also, if you knew how poor I was to be buying these free-range chicken breasts...
Yeah.
You'd be giving me big props.
Yeah, well, look, I am giving you big props because you've semi-changed your ways a little bit. It even buys free-range eggs sometimes now.
That's
free-range
true.
Eggs, free-range chicken.
When I have a bit of spare money, I'll go the free range.
Yeah. Now, look, I don't want to claim this, but I'm going to claim this.
It might have been your influence.
Because, basically this flat was a regular old flat.
Yep.
With, we'd all buy the cheapest of everything.
I was having, mainly my thing was mince or pork mince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and then same with my my lovely girlfriend Angie. She was just a regular, normal type of consumer. And then when I had my quarter-life crisis... and
you became the scholar, philosophy poet.
And I became a scholar, philosopher poet. At the same time, I decided to cut back on my meat and dairy. And I'm very happy to report, this was a little over 2 years ago now, so it's sticking. I'm very happy to report that Angie has cut back on her meat and dairy, but not just that, but her sister has now cut back on her dairy, which means by default that her boyfriend who she lives with has cut back on his dairy, and now you have cut back on you're buying the free range chicken and the free range
powerful
eggs.
Influence.
So all I'm saying is, if you're out there and you feel like you can't make a difference, you can.
Harley Neville, the prophet.
You can make a difference.
The truth sayer.
You can make a difference. You can make a difference by changing what you do. You can change what people around you do. So keep it up, team.
So think about
Go team vegetarian.
One
day.
Not just yet.
One day. I tried to go full veggie, and I went full veggie for like a few months, and then it was like the meat just kind of snuck back in. It was just too hard to find like nice vegetarian things that I wanted to eat every single day.
The only time I go full veggie is after I've jerked off and I'm in a state of wank euphoria.
Right. So he's
I'm
in
just feeling full veggie.
He's in vegetative state.
I've gone full veggie.
Yeah. Well, on that excellent note, actually, Mike Newport wants to talk about clickbaiting on the internet.
Okay. We'll just mention this before we go.
All right.
So I am getting fucking trapped by clickbait all the time.
Yep.
Which is the top 10s. Like, it's like 10 actors you didn't know were gay. 10
Why would that make you click on it?
Just wanted to know who was gay, man.
just curious.
10 people.
I just need to know.
10 main guys I didn't know was, or like 10 actors that have that secretly went to jail, or like 10 filmmakers who had the biggest flops of all time. Like, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, even the title of whatever it is fucking stupid.
I hate the ones that are they're like, she wraps a piece of string around a banana, and what happens, and you won't believe what happens next.
What happens next?
It's like, I don't give a fuck what happens next. As soon as I see that title, I'm like, okay, don't care. That is such a horrible clickbait way to make me click on it.
Well, every single time I click on them, I'm disappointed. 2, they're not real easy clicks because you're clicking through, they give you one ad, and then you have to click next again. So it's just a nightmare, and I keep fucking falling for it.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If people stop clicking on them, people will stop making them.
Yeah.
So stop clicking on them, guy.
I'm trying. It's an addiction. It's really tricky.
Yeah. So.
Well, in saying that, though, we perhaps create clickbait.
Well, we do. We use very provocative thumbnails. Here's a tip. Here's a tip for you guys out there trying to market your stuff. On YouTube, the thumbnail is probably the most important thing, far more important than the content. Unfortunately, because now, as an example, I had this video, the making of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, and when I first put it up there, I had the thumbnail was a film set with some people with a microphone, it looked like a film set, and I called it, I think I called it Interview with the Director of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, because it was kind of an interview with you talking about it, and it got I think it got like 800 views.
Guess who gave a shit about that?
No one. No one gave a shit. And then, so one day I was like, okay, so I'm going to change this. So I took a screen grab from the clip. So it was from the clip, and it was of Rhiannon, our actress, with blood splattered all over her and kind of splattered on her boobs.
Sure.
So I took a screen grab of that, and when I was finished, I then uploaded it to.
When you were finished doing what?
and then I uploaded it to.
Finished taking the screen grab, or?
And then I uploaded it to the thumbnail, and I changed the name of the video to "Big Tits Covered in Blood." Okay, and then I swear to God, the views went from 800 to 80,000.
Think about that for a second.
80,000. Now it's one thing, that's a massive increase. Like, if you wanted to work out the percentage, it must be like 80. I don't know, 800%. 8,000 percent-ish. Something like that.
Just about.
That is phenomenal. And that's because I changed the title in the thumbnail. And then not just that, there's money to be made on YouTube. You put ads on your videos, you get paid. So it's like, it turns a profit. So it's a very profitable thing to do if you can, get 1 million views. 80,000 is not very much. But yeah, so anyway, very, very important. The thumbnail you choose and the title you choose is very important. Although, as far as artistic integrity goes...
Ooh, that's gone way down.
People don't like it.
That's gone down the toilet for us.
It's about walking the line. It's about walking the line,
Yeah. So there you go. Fuck, we've given away so many gems today.
We have. Only if people stuck around to the end. So thank you very much for listening. We'll leave it at Big Tits Covered in Blood. Make sure you check out my new poem. It's called Message in a Bottle.
Well, they already just checked it out.
No, with animation. I want them to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we get paid for the views.
Maybe you should change the name of that.
To Big Tits.
Something about...
Covered in plastic.
Man's giant bottle.
Yeah.
Dealing with this man's giant size bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One man, one jar.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for listening. Make sure you check out the poem, which you can find on the Pigville Productions Facebook page. If you've got any questions for us for next week, hit us up on the Pigville Productions page or the Guy and Harley podcast page, whichever you want.
Also, I will say we've been a little bit slack with this. If you like the podcast, if you're listening, do a review on iTunes or share it on Facebook.
Yeah, because we do need your help.
Because we're hitting that. We're hitting the heady heights of 67 viewers on a good one.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
We basically get 50 a week-ish.
We need to expand. We need to keep our grasp.
Yeah. So if you are one of the 50,
yeah,
you are very special to us. Please hit share on this.
And write that iTunes thing up if you can.
All right. So thank you very much for listening.
And we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.